What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to install the ProTuning Freaks boot mode flex fuel kit for the B58 Gen 1. Alright guys, we're going to install the ProTuning Freaks B58 Gen 1 flex fuel kit today on the 240. And I wasn't really planning on doing this, so I didn't really have it set up, and I'm not really going to go through every little detail on the step because most of it's already out there. But let's get right into it. All right guys, so this is the box that it comes in. You get a little keychain deal. This is the sensor. This actually will attach to the top of the hi-hat portion of your low pressure fuel pump in the tank, at the top of the tank. This will go in there, connect to the tank. The existing fuel line will then connect to here, and this is pretty much the best kit on the market. It's more expensive, unfortunately, but it's the best for a reason. There's a built-in bypass for the sensor. These sensors are typically smaller than the OEM fuel line, and you will get a restriction on a lot of these other kits. Nobody talks about it, but they're there. Most people don't even realize it. So this actually has a bypass. You're getting fuel coming from here and here going to the line instead of just going through the sensor, which is not what you want. So, and then this is going to go, connects to here. There's the box that basically controls everything, and then this goes up to the panel under the passenger side footwell there. It's right on the side. So you got to run this line up and then connect this. You unplug a connector, plug it in, this plugs in. It just kind of runs in the middle. So real simple. So yeah. All right guys, so what you're going to want to do is disconnect this battery. So I've already loosened it up and pulled it off, but you're gonna wanna, loosen this nut, pull it off, tuck it down underneath. And yeah, you don't wanna have this hooked up when you're disconnecting these modules and reconnecting stuff. It could be bad. It might be okay, but don't take the chance. Basically what you gotta do is get the seat up in this. If you got a 3 Series or something, it's a lot easier because you can just open up the back door. But you got to pull this up and then pull back the sound deadening, and then you got to pull the cover off the access panel, and then you would connect it all right about there. And then the line's going to come up through here. They want you to tuck it underneath this trim piece, and then where we need to get to is there. But yeah, it should be pretty simple. And I believe all you do is, if it's like my F30, just pops right up. I'm gonna have to get the other side. So you'll just reach in here and pop that up. These are going to push through. FYI, they're a huge pain in the ass to get back up in there properly. Yeah, it's just a big pain in the ass. This car doesn't have any kind of heated seat. Otherwise you have to like reach down behind here, disconnect the heaters, and then you can, you know, pull this off. Otherwise they're attached to the seats. It was like that in my F30. I was never able to get them reconnected properly. But essentially this peels back. It's held in place by a couple of push pins. You should be able to just pop it off. And of course, these are probably going to be 10 millimeter. So let me go get some tools. I'll be right back. All right, guys, 10. Yep, it was a 10 millimeter. So these are plastic. These are plastic nuts. They're nothing crazy. They don't need a lot of torque to get them on, but you can strip them out if you try to over tighten these. And this is just going to come right off. There's usually a bunch of crap in here. Yeah, there is. Just get you out of here. Normally I would try vacuuming this out, but so what you're gonna do is you gotta, down in here, grab this clip, pop that off. And we're gonna come back to this later because we're gonna actually have to pull this seal out, and then we're gonna make a slit here to sort of enlarge this hole, and then that way we can run the boot mode harness through there. So normally if you're going to do like a low pressure fuel pump swap, is you would have to, there's a tool that goes here, grabs these notches, and you could put a wrench on it, and then you could turn it and it'll unlock it. So this holds it in, and it's under a decent amount of pressure, and you really need the right tool. You can do it without the right tool. I have a universal one that works, but it's not the best. Yeah, I usually recommend to get the tool. It's worth it. All right. All right, so what we're gonna do here, it's easier to do it from this side. You're just gonna kind of push it through. So, real simple. But what we're gonna do, usually you can just do a slit, and the slit's enough, but I kind of want to take out a little small chunk right there. Get it to come off. Apparently I didn't cut it enough. You want to be very careful not to cut any of those wires. That would be very bad. So, little chunk. And what we're going to do, so this box is going to stay out of there. You're not going to keep this in there. It's not waterproof. You don't want it to be vibrating on anything metallic, that sort of thing. I probably should have unwound this first. Okay. So now this has got to come through here. And what you're going to do is just like that. So now it sticks through. So let's see, that's the front. We'll get this all pushed back through. There. Perfect. All right, now so this is all set and ready to go. And what you're going to do, so if you have a N55 car, it'd be a little different. You would have like two harnesses on this, and one would plug into here and the other one would plug into there. But they changed it, so it's now built into the sensor. What this is going to do is you got to get it in here. Probably something like this. So it's got to fit in here underneath the cover. This is going to go here. This is going to go here. So you got a little clip down here. So you always want to rag, you know, unless you've bled off the pressure or the car's sat, you're going to get fuel. All right, so now you got your rag in place. Got to reach down here. It's best to try to push it down. And on the front side here, you can't really see it, but it's white. You want to push that in. And when that's all the way pushed in, you lift straight up, and it usually will pop off real simple. Like it did for there, or it did there, and sprayed me in the mouth. So yeah. All right, you do not want to get anything in that. You don't want to get any dirt or debris or anything like that. That would be bad. It's just that simple, popping the line on. Now you got to get in here. I'm going to tuck this down. Just like this. And once that's tucked in, pop the fuel line under here. Not like that, apparently. Pull you back off. Just pop you out. There we go. That should be on. Just to make sure it does not pull off, so we're good there. All right, we're good. And you just kind of want to get this positioned in such a way that it's not going to interfere with the cover. And it's usually something about like right here. It fits in pretty good. So we'll see. I'm gonna take this end. Click here on the other connector in there, put that back on. It didn't click, but it's not moving. It's locked into place. And then that's essentially it. So arrow pointing back forward. If you press this down and it's hitting the flux fuel sensor, you'll know it. And it'll kind of rock. It won't lay level. I got fortunate first try, and it's in just the right position. So put a couple of these on to hold it into place. And then now we can just put the rest of them on, just snug them. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this back over, and then we're going to start looking at routing the line up to the front. So be right back. All right, so before I put all this back, normally what people will do is this will get mounted in here behind this panel. And if it's like my F30, it just pops off. You can just see it's kind of loose. You just pop it out. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't know if I'm going to mount mine there or not. I don't have anybody in the back seats ever, so I may keep it out just to get more airflow somewhere. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it yet, and you know, because I haven't really thought about it, I'm not going to worry about it for the video. So what we got to do after putting this back, put this guy back in. There you go, little guy. So what you got to do is you got to now route this. You got to get it in here. This trim piece here, this trim piece will just pull up. I just started pulling it up just to make sure it would pop up easy. Through here, we got to go into there, but before we can go into there, you have to drop the tray here, and there's two 10 millimeter bolts on both sides. So we're going to pull that, pull this, and then we can pop this off. So you want to work your way along, applying pressure, but do not yank, just pull, and then get each section to pop off. You can see these are the clips, and they will break real easy if you do not treat it nice. So we got to get in there and get these two bolts. They are right, one's right there, and the other one should be right over there. Right there. One, and that's all it is. So this would be a good time if you need to change your cabin filter. They should just be able to pop this down. And there is a light here, so I'm not going to unplug that. We're just going to turn this like this to the side. And now we should be able to reach down here and just get this guy out. We hooked on. There we are. Yeah, so 2 of them, and this clip slides into that one right there. So now we got access to the modules that we need to get to, and I gotta double check because I want to say it's that black one, but let me verify. I don't want to be wrong. All right guys, so it's going to be, it actually is that white connector. It's the black connector inside of that you have to pull out. So you just push one finger in, push the little tab, and then you can pull up on the clip all the way up, and it just basically pushes it completely out. And then what you get is this. All right, so you should just be able to pull this tab here on the side of the black connector, and then the black connector should just slide out. And of course that's not going to happen when I'm on video. I think I'm going to have to pull back. Yeah, that's what it was. That tape just wasn't letting it come out. Okay, so now you have this. This only goes in one way, but you have to make sure that when you connect this to the boot mode, to the ProTuning Freaks connector, it's plugged in the correct way. If it's not plugged in the correct way, you'll get a drivetrain malfunction and your windshield wipers will run and you can't turn them off. So it's got to be plugged in the correct way. So this is what it looks like. Basically, they're tapping into a couple of these pins to get the info and to send the info to all the modules in the computer and so on. All right guys, yeah, sorry about the edits. I'm smoking some pulled pork, and the alarms keep going off for whatever reason, and I have to keep stopping to go check and everything. So I apologize for all the weird little cuts. So anyways, going back to this has got to be installed correctly, like I said. I believe, so if you're holding it this way, green and yellow on the left, and then, you know, this pink, purple, I don't know what color you want to call that, be there on the top. And then on this side, if I'm not mistaken, it's this way. So this blue and then the red are going to be on this side here on the left as you hold it this way, and then you're going to line up these pins and it's just going to slide together just like that. And of course I did it wrong. So let's see, there we are. Okay, so just like that, all the pins should go, and you're gonna kind of want to wiggle just a little bit. Everything looks good. You do not want to bend any of those or break any of those pins, but it is tight enough that this is no longer a concern, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's try bunching them up first. There we go, that's gonna be better. And it's gonna click into place. And it should not come out. Perfect, we are clicked into place. We're good to go. So you're gonna take this, push it back in. As you push it in, this tab's gonna come back down, and just make sure it's in all the way. And then you should be able to just slide this down. It'll force it into the right position, and then when it clicks, you're good to go. And then what you're gonna do is just kind of tuck this in here. You have a little bit of space to kind of put that in there. So that should be that. And then what you're gonna do, obviously, is, you know, all this is gonna get hidden down here underneath the trim pieces. So you're just gonna kind of route it, get it in under the, you know, the sound deadening material. You're gonna make sure you're not blocking any of these clips or anything like that, because you're gonna have a heck of a time trying to put everything back together. So I'm just gonna run this where I want it to be. I kind of want it under this. I don't really want it under the seal. I'd rather it push up on the carpet than on this seal and have some sort of weird issue in the future. So we're not going to do that. And then you would finish running this how you want to run it in the back and all that. And I'm real happy I caught something, because my dumb ass, when I did it, I didn't put it on this side of the seatbelt. So yay for me. I could fix that here because I can just unplug this and whatever, and I don't have to redo that, but I'm gonna do that. So don't be me, don't do what I just did. I'm gonna have to fix this after the video. But from now, and everything's together, before we want to put everything back, to put all this trim and everything back, we need to reconnect the battery cable back on. And just want to make sure that you snug it down. There, that was easier. All right, it's not gonna go anywhere. So we're good now. So we gotta go get back in the car. All right, so like I said, if it's not hooked up right, if what we did over there is wrong, as soon as we turn the car on and start it, we're gonna get a drivetrain malfunction and the windshield wipers are gonna start running. So telling me to set the date and time. Nice. All right, so let's start it. Moment of truth. All right, so as you can see and hear, it started up no problem. It's idled down a little bit. It's going to get quieter. The exhaust valve is going to close in a second, and then you're not going to hear it at all. So what you're going to do is here for the cruise control, these switches, there's an up, there's a down, and then it's like a 2-position each way. So it's a 5-position switch. 1 position's in neutral there. You got 1 up, and then if you press it up, that's going to put you up, you know, 2, and then the same thing, you got 1 down, and then you press it again to go down a second time, so that's the 2 down. So what you're going to want to do is you're just going to move it down 1st position. You're not going to press past that, and then what's going to happen is it's going to show you your ethanol content here on the dash. You can use the app, or on your phone or your laptop or whatever, and you can see it. But with this, you don't need to do a gauge. And a lot of people do the ones for the vents and stuff like that, and they're actually really cool. Don't get me wrong, I do like them. I like the idea of being able to see it all the time. But with this, all you got to do, press it down, dash, the tack will go up, and then it's going to go. So if it goes up to 1, that's 10%. 2,000 RPM is 20%. 3,000, 30%, and so on. And as you can see, I'm sitting right about 58, 5,900 RPM, so I'm about E58, E59, which is about what I've been shooting for. With the local gas stations, I know roughly what the ethanol content of those pumps were, and I know that my pump gas here in Michigan is almost universally 10% ethanol regardless, and the E85, most stations that I get it from, is somewhere between E78 and about E85 itself, usually about E80, E82. So I got a little app on my phone that tells me based on how many gallons I want to put in, and what my target ethanol is, what the estimated ethanol for the pump and for the 90. Sorry about that, battery just died. Anyways, I've been targeting E60 with my app, and again, as you can see, I'm about E59, so I've been targeting correctly. Not everybody does that, and you'd be surprised. Don't assume you have E30 in the tank and you have to log your car. If you don't have some sort of ethanol sensor, you need to log the car and check your timing corrections. You might think you have E30 in the tank and it's E20, and your timing is all over the place and the corrections are just bad. So if you're gonna do it blind, please double check and make sure that you're at least good enough to where your timing is clean. And if it's not clean, just keep adding a little bit of ethanol until you get clean timing. Just be real careful with that. You got to be smart about it. I don't recommend that for everybody, but most people can figure that out. And just keep adding it until your timing cleans up, and don't add any more after that, because you're not going to gain any more power if you're running a tune for E30 and you have E70 in the tank. That's just dumb. And then your car, depending on your pump setup, you may not be able to even run that. So don't do that. Just if you're targeting E30, shoot for E32 to E35, and you should be okay in most cases, depending on your pump setup. Same for E50 if you got a or an E40 tune if you have MHD or something. But don't overshoot your target. It might put you in a really bad situation, and it could be really bad for the car, and you don't want that. So but as you can see, that's it. So now I'm going to go back over here, put everything back together, and I got to fix my little goof back there for the wiring, and that's about it, guys. So I appreciate you watching. Like I said, I wasn't planning on doing this today. It just kind of worked out this way. I had some break in the weather. It's been kind of crappy here, so yeah, I just wanted to get it done because it's a Saturday and I'm not going to be able to do it this coming week. So yeah, sorry for the low production value, but it is what it is, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel, give me a like. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I always answer. And thanks, guys. Appreciate you.